Frank kissed his wife Catherine on the forehead and went to bed at 10:30. He'd eaten his dinner at 6, he'd watched the news, he'd taken his pills. Most of them, anyway. He was 67 years old, recently retired, and looking forward to a fishing trip his son had planned for the weekend. His wife found him at 6:04 the next morning. He'd been gone for hours. The coroner called it cardiac arrest during sleep. The family called it a shock. But the truth, the one nobody at the funeral wanted to say out loud, was that what killed Frank had been building for weeks, in the last 2 hours of every single night. Frank's story is not rare. According to data from the American Heart Association, nearly 50% of all fatal cardiac events in adults over 60 happen between the hours of 10 at night and 6 in the morning. Half while you sleep, while your family is in the next room, while you are defenseless. What I'm about to share with you today is not the obvious stuff, not the diet warnings you've heard 1,000 times. This is about 5 specific things you may be doing in the last 2 hours before bed that quietly set the stage for a heart attack or stroke while you sleep. And most people doing them have absolutely no idea they are dangerous at all. They think they are relaxing. They think they are unwinding. They think they are being kind to their bodies. My name is Dr. Goodman. And over the years of digging through the medical literature on cardiovascular events in older adults, one pattern kept appearing over and over. The seniors who suffered heart attacks and strokes in their sleep were not always the sickest patients. They were the ones who seemed fine, the ones who ate reasonably well, the ones who exercised a little, the ones who took their pills most of the time. But they had a handful of nighttime habits that were silently destroying the very system meant to protect them while they rested. By the end of this video, you'll know all 5 habits, why each one is so dangerous after 60, and exactly what to do tonight. Not next week, not after your next doctor's appointment, tonight, to dramatically reduce your risk. Stay with me, because what I reveal at habit number 3 is something I believe is responsible for more silent senior deaths than almost any other factor in this list. And habit number 1 is the one that, according to a massive clinical trial, could cut your nighttime cardiovascular risk by nearly half, by itself, tonight. Before we begin, drop your age and where you're watching from in the comments below. I read every single one. Sleep is not passive. Your cardiovascular system does not simply rest when you lie down. It shifts into a complex biological repair cycle. Your blood pressure is supposed to drop. Your heart rate is supposed to slow. Your brain is supposed to clear out the toxic waste that accumulates while you're awake. When this process works correctly, sleep is the single most powerful form of cardiovascular protection your body has. But when this process is disrupted, when certain habits interfere with the cycle, the result is not just poor sleep. The result is physiological chaos. Blood pressure that spikes instead of falling, arteries that tighten instead of relaxing, blood that thickens instead of flowing freely. And in a body over 60, with arteries that are already stiffer and a heart already working harder, that chaos can turn fatal within hours. Here are the 5 habits. We're counting down to the most dangerous. Habit number 5. Going to bed even mildly dehydrated. You can be clinically dehydrated and feel almost nothing. Many seniors also deliberately limit fluids in the evening to avoid waking up to use the bathroom. I understand that, but here's what your comfort is hiding. When you are dehydrated, your blood literally becomes thicker, more viscous. Thick blood moves more slowly through your vessels. Slow-moving blood forms clots more easily. Combine that with the natural slowdown of circulation during sleep, and you have created the perfect biological conditions for a clot to form. Plaques inside the arteries rupture under the pressure. Clots form. Heart attacks and strokes happen, and they happen in those specific hours. Travel to the heart, trigger a heart attack, or travel to the brain, trigger a stroke. A study in the Journal of Cardiovascular Disease found that even mild dehydration raised the risk of nighttime cardiovascular events by more than 60% in adults over 55. More than 60%. From something as simple as not drinking enough water during the day. Consider Diane. She was 71, retired, in what she considered good health. One morning, her husband found her unresponsive on her side of the bed. She'd had an ischemic stroke overnight. A clot had blocked a critical artery to her brain. Her blood work showed severely concentrated blood. Dehydration was documented as a contributing factor. Diane survived. She lost the use of her right hand permanently. She has since asked me to share her story because she does not want anyone else to make the same choice she did. The fix is not complicated. And keep a small glass on your nightstand for the middle of the night. One bathroom trip is a much better outcome than a stroke. Habit number 4, drinking alcohol within 3 hours of going to bed. I want to be careful here. Plaques inside the arteries rupture under the pressure. Clots form. Heart attacks and strokes happen. And they happen in those specific hours. Taking common over-the-counter sleep aids. I want you to hear me carefully here because this affects more seniors than almost anything else on this list. Because I know how common a glass of wine in the evening is. I am not telling you to stop drinking. I am telling you when matters. Here is what alcohol actually does to the aging cardiovascular system. In the first hour after a drink, your blood pressure drops slightly. You feel relaxed. But 4 to 6 hours later, usually right in the middle of your sleep cycle, your blood pressure rebounds sharply, sometimes to levels significantly higher than your baseline. In a younger heart, that rebound is absorbed. In an aging heart with stiffer arteries, it is a stress test you didn't agree to take, and it adds to dehydration, which we just discussed. The fix is simple. If you enjoy a drink, finish it by 7 in the evening. That can occur after even modest drinking. In seniors, atrial fibrillation is one of the leading causes of stroke, and it often happens in the early morning hours, while you sleep, completely unnoticed. Alcohol disrupts the deep restorative phases of sleep, the exact phases your cardiovascular system uses to repair itself. If you're still with me, do me a favor. Type the number 2 in the comments below. It helps YouTube know this is reaching real seniors who need it and might push it to one more person who's quietly doing one of these things tonight. Habit number 3, the one almost nobody talks about, taking common over-the-counter sleep aids. I want you to hear me carefully here because this affects more seniors than almost anything else on this list. If you take Benadryl, Tylenol PM, Advil PM, NyQuil, Unisom, or any product whose label contains the word PM, or the ingredient diphenhydramine or doxylamine, you are taking what's called an anticholinergic medication. The American Geriatric Society publishes something called the Beers Criteria, a list of medications considered inappropriate for adults over 65. Diphenhydramine is on that list. It is explicitly flagged as harmful in older adults, and yet millions of seniors take it every single night. A landmark study published in JAMA Internal Medicine, University of Washington, over 3,000 adults followed for years, found that long-term anticholinergic use was associated with a significantly increased risk of dementia, independent of all other risk factors. But the immediate danger is even more direct. These medications cause sedation that lasts well past sunrise. They impair balance. Falls happen. Seniors who take them are at meaningfully higher risk of nighttime falls, urinary retention, confusion in the morning, and critically, they suppress the deep sleep stages your heart relies on to lower blood pressure overnight. William was 69, sharp, a retired engineer who told me he took 2 Benadryl every night because his doctor years ago had said it was fine for sleep. Within 2 years of starting that habit, his wife had started noticing his memory wasn't what it had been. He felt foggy every morning. He fell in the bathroom once and broke a wrist. His sleep doctor reviewed his routine and said one sentence that changed everything. Stop the Benadryl and let's see what your real baseline looks like. 6 weeks later, his fog had lifted. His balance had returned. He told me, "I had no idea I was doing that to myself." If you have been using an over-the-counter sleep aid nightly, please talk to your doctor about a safer alternative. Sometimes the answer is simply melatonin in a low dose. Sometimes it's behavioral, but it is almost never one of those PM products. Habit number 2, sleeping flat on your back when you have undiagnosed sleep apnea. This is one of the most quietly catastrophic habits in this entire video, because the research now suggests that more than 80% of moderate to severe sleep apnea cases in adults over 60 are completely undiagnosed. And it happens hundreds of times per night in severe cases. Each time breathing stops, oxygen levels in your blood crash. Your brain triggers an emergency response. Stress hormones flood the body. Heart rate spikes. Blood pressure surges. And the cycle repeats again and again while you believe you're sleeping peacefully. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that untreated sleep apnea triples the risk of nighttime heart attack and quadruples the risk of stroke. Quadruples. And closes the airway more easily. Many seniors who would have only mild apnea in another position have severe apnea on their back and don't know it. The warning signs: loud, chronic snoring, waking up gasping or choking, morning headaches, daytime fatigue no matter how long you slept, but which is sometimes apnea, pulling fluid back into circulation. Helen was 64, snored heavily for years. Her husband had moved to the guest room. She thought it was embarrassing, but harmless. One night, her oxygen dropped so low, her heart developed a dangerous arrhythmia. She woke up in the emergency room. The cardiologist told her she had come within minutes of not waking up at all. She now uses a CPAP machine. Her nighttime blood pressure has dropped 22 points. She calls it the machine that saved my life. If you snore, please ask your doctor for a sleep study. Most insurance plans cover them. They can usually be done at home, comfortably, in your own bed. While you wait, try sleeping on your side. Sew a tennis ball into the back of your pajama top if you have to. It sounds absurd. It works. Now, habit number 1. The one I told you about at the start. The one I believe is the single most consequential thing on this list, and the one that has been hiding in plain sight for decades. Habit number 1. Taking your blood pressure medication in the morning instead of at bedtime. I know that sounds almost too simple to matter. Stay with me because the science behind this is one of the most important cardiovascular findings of the last 20 years. Your blood pressure is not constant. It follows a precise 24-hour rhythm. In healthy people, it drops at night and slowly rises again in the early morning hours, between 3 and 6 a.m., as the body prepares to wake up. This is called the morning surge. In people whose blood pressure medication has worn off overnight, that morning surge can be catastrophic. Plaques inside the arteries rupture under the pressure. Clots form. Heart attacks and strokes happen, and they happen in those specific hours. In 2019, a massive clinical trial published in the European Heart Journal, the HYGIA chronotherapy trial, followed over 19,000 adults. Half took their blood pressure medication in the morning, half took the same dose at bedtime. The results stunned the cardiology world. The bedtime group had a 45% reduction in major cardiovascular events. They had a 66% lower rate of cardiovascular death, 45%, 66%, from a change so simple it costs nothing. And yet, most blood pressure prescriptions are still written, take in the morning, because it is the convention, not because the evidence supports it for protecting you overnight. Now, I am not telling you to change your routine without talking to your doctor. I am telling you to have that conversation. Ask your doctor specifically, based on the HYGIA trial, could nighttime dosing be safer for me? Some medications absolutely should remain morning dosed. Many can be moved. Your doctor will know which is which. But please do not skip a dose. And do not assume that because you feel fine, your overnight blood pressure is fine. It may be spiking to dangerous levels in the early hours of the morning. Joseph was 70, had managed his hypertension for a decade. He was what I call a casual complier. He took his medication most days, but skipped it when he traveled. He told me one day here and there couldn't matter. One Tuesday morning, his wife called 911 at 4:30 a.m. Joseph had suffered a massive hemorrhagic stroke. He told me from his hospital bed that he would give anything to go back and take those 2 pills. Take your medication. Take it at the same time every night, if your doctor confirms that's right for you. Set an alarm if you have to. This is the single most controllable risk factor in this entire list. Now, the protective bedtime routine I promised you. This is simple, affordable, and if you follow it consistently, the data suggests it can lower your risk of a nighttime cardiovascular event by more than 40%. By 6:30 in the evening, finish your last meal. Light, lean protein, vegetables, nothing fried, nothing heavy. After that, only water. If you drink alcohol, finish it by 7, not negotiable. At 8 p.m., drink a full glass of water. Take any prescribed medications exactly as your doctor has directed. Set a phone alarm. At 9 p.m., begin to wind down. No stimulating television, no arguments, no stressful phone calls. Dim the lights in your home. Let your nervous system shift. At 9:30, set your bedroom temperature to between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Place a small glass of water on your nightstand. If you have any reason to suspect sleep apnea, position yourself on your side with a pillow supporting your neck. At 10 p.m., use the bathroom, and as you settle in, take 5 slow, deep breaths. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system and tells your heart rate to drop naturally. This routine costs you nothing except attention. The return on that investment for the next 8 hours is a cardiovascular system that is protected. I want to leave you with this. Your heart has been beating for you every minute of every day for 60, 70, 80 years. It has never asked for a day off. It has never quit on you. But it has been quietly asking for something. Better choices in the last 2 hours of every day. And almost no one is listening until it is too late. You are not broken. Your body is not giving up on you. But it needs you to be intentional about these nighttime hours, because what you do in the last 2 hours before sleep is shaping what your heart and brain experience for the next 8. I challenge you, follow this routine for 30 nights, and I believe you will feel a difference in your morning blood pressure, your energy, and the depth of your sleep that you have not felt in years. Share this with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a neighbor who lives alone. You may never know whose life you just protected by passing this along. If you found this useful, please subscribe. Every week, I bring you science-backed health information for adults over 60. In the comments below, tell me which of these 5 habits you recognized in your own routine. I read every comment, and your answer shapes what I cover next. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching this important health update. We hope these tips help you stay healthy and safe. Remember to consult with your doctor regularly.